Oh, wow, surprise. Sounds like you do.
Thank you, and welcome, Jonathan. LaDonna has taken a needed day off, so we have Jonathan today with us. Thank you very much. Just a couple of quick announcements. It is December, and if you are, I don't usually ask for money, but if you're looking for a tax break, Unity would be a great place to make a donation in the month of December for your taxes this year. We got a lot of stuff planned coming up this year. We're going to partner with Sidewalk Film Festival. We were on a Zoom call this week with them. And we got a marketing person that's going to start working with us, so we're just trying to get our word out, but it does all cost money, and so if anybody would, this is a great time to give. And if anybody wants to be involved with all that, please just see one of us, because we got a lot of stuff coming up. And next week, December 21st, our winter extravaganza. It's going to start a little bit early. Service will be about 10:45 next week. We're going to start with some music. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do the meditation with Guru Dev. Braden, we got a quick minute video here just to talk a little bit about the World Meditation Day. Here we go.
The United Nations has declared 21st December World Meditation Day. It's a welcome step as meditation needed this much awaited recognition. Meditation is not connected to any one religion. Like yoga, it is common to everyone. Meditation has the answer to many of the modern day challenges that are faced by the humanity. Meditation can help people to come out of depression or aggression. Meditation can help perception, expression, and communication. It helps you physiologically, it can boost your immune system, it can bring you deep relaxation. The mindfulness is a byproduct of meditation. Focus comes to you naturally. You will feel good from inside. There will be a lot of enthusiasm and positivity that will come up. The mental challenges we face can all be handled through meditation. This World Meditation Day, I invite everyone to meditate for at least 20 minutes. All those who are meditating, invite everyone else around you, and let's all together meditate and create more positivity, more productivity, and more happiness in the world.
Very good, very good. Yeah, I'm excited. Last year we did it. It was the first year for World Meditation Day. There was 8.5 million people around the world meditating. So hopefully it'll be over 10 million this year, and we're going to be part of it. There's also a link when you set up the newsletter to RSVP, so they get names, so everybody's accredited for who's going to be there. So anyhow, that's next week at 11 o'clock. Be about 20-25 minutes of meditation. And then our Ukrainian friends will be here putting on their concert. So I think they've got about 8 or 10 songs they're going to do. And then after that, we're going to do potluck downstairs, potluck lunch. So it's a full day. And there is sign-up sheets out in the lobby there for meals to bring or food to bring for the potluck. So please, if you could, sign up for some of that so we can bring food for the potluck next week. All right, that is about it.
All right, thank you, Bruce. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As we prepare our hearts for affirmative prayer, I'd like to read to you this morning our daily word. And Daily Word, the subscription information was also sent out via Friday's news blast. So make sure you sign up, if not for the physical copy, but for the virtual copy. I believe it's only $9 a year. $9 a year. Today's daily word is love, and the quote is, "I give and receive love with gratitude and joy." Good morning. This Advent season, I read as slow as I could, I'm sorry. This Advent season, I turn my attention to the myriad ways love expresses within and around me. I feel called to share blessings of love with people in all circumstances and receive their blessings of love and kind. I may join in festive celebrations, sharing cheer and fellowship with friends and colleagues. I practice patience and understanding, especially during moments of frustration as I go about my Christmas preparations. I feel compassion for those who struggle during the holidays and reach out to them with support and caring. These are some of the ways I show love to others. When I receive their time, attention, and gifts with gratitude, I am letting them show their love to me. And with that, I invite you to turn within as we allow our minds to rest in our bodies, as our bodies are resting in the chair. We give thanks in advance that the presence of God is encamped around us, and also in us and with us. And we allow this presence to go forth in the service, blessing and uniting each of us, heart to heart, mind to mind. We allow our minds and our hearts to soften in light of the holidays and in remembrance of love. Those who are both here and not here, for to be absent in body is to be present with spirit. We allow their thoughtfulness and their intention to go forward, to bless us and encourage us, reminding us that we are always surrounded and encamped by thousands of witnesses, having our backs, wishing us well, and giving us the encouragement we need to go forth another day. We speak blessings on those that are tuning in online and those that are on the way here, and we allow the spirit of love to bind our hearts together as one. And so it is. Amen.
Ashe, thank you for that. Good morning, everyone. Blessings. Today, as I lead meditation, I thought it would be really wonderful if we were in the spirit of understanding that there is nothing and no one against us, that all things are working in our favor, and that we can actually open up ourselves to that energy and that spirit. So that will be the goal of this meditation. I ask that everyone get comfortable in your seats. Go ahead and shake out any tension that you feel. Loosen up your shoulders. Go ahead and uncross your legs. Uncross your arms. And rest into your seat beneath you. I invite you to gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in and release, and let all the tension kind of fall from your body. All right, so for the next couple deep breaths, I want us to invite in positive, loving energy. And with every exhale, release all that doesn't serve you. But also, as you are exhaling, send love, release love into the universe. Let's go. Deep breath in. Release all that you want to let go and share. Inhale. Let it go. As you are inhaling, please bring it deep down into the bottom of your belly. Feel that positive energy flowing through every cell as it finds its way down into the bottom of your belly and fill it with healing energy. Fill your gut with love and happiness and all the goodness that's meant for you, waiting to be received. Everything that doesn't serve you falls away. With each exhale, feel your body getting lighter. Welcome weightlessness. Welcome connection with the divine creator. Welcome connection with the inner child. As thoughts may arise to pull you away from breath, it's okay. Allow it to pass by like a car on the street. And bring your concentration back to breath, to alignment, to the flow of loving, healing light, pulling from your crown at the top of your head and working its way down through every cell in your body as it reaches all the way down to the tips of your toes. And then with each exhale, releasing. As you become more and more weightless with each exhale, I want you to invite in the feeling of pure joy. Envision what color is joy to you. And I want you to let that color wash over you like a light, slowly working through all your cells and bringing joy to each of them. This is your divine disposition. This is you connecting with your higher self, with the Creator that lives within. What does it feel like to be fully washed over and filled with joy? Live in that feeling. Breathe it in. And with each exhale, remember, send some joy to your neighbor. Send it through your neighbor beyond these walls to someone else who could experience the beauty that you're experiencing right now. May it touch them. May the joy in you be so powerful that it fills up everyone who touches it, who comes in contact with you, whom you think of. Let it consume you, as this is your right. If you feel any tension in any of your muscles, that's your physical being's way of telling you to send more love to that area. We're going to send a little bit extra light to those areas and give them the attention and love they deserve. For these next few inhales, I want you to say to yourself the following affirmations. The next inhale, I want you to say to yourself, I am love. I share love. I deserve love. Joy and peace and love are my birthrights. And that nothing and no one is against me. All that is meant for me, that is good for me, will find me. Let's all take one deep cleansing breath and release. Go ahead and come back to the room. Let's wiggle it out. Roll our necks and find our space back in this space together. I invite you to open your eyes. I pray that these words have been healing for you as they have been for me. I send you so much love, so much peace, and so much sisterhood and brotherhood. Ashe.
Put your hands together for Jonathan Moore. I'm going to invite you back and just to relax just for a second. Let's anchor back in together after the energy that we have created so far in this space. Right where you are, right where your feet are, this is your place of power. Sacred text says that the presence of God had a conversation with Moses, and he said, Moses, Moses, take off your shoes, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Right now, our feet are not anchored into yesterday. Yesterday was a memory. They're not anchored into tomorrow. Tomorrow is a fantasy that may or may not occur. But right now, in the present moment, this is where our power is. So we take the time to anchor into this moment, this experience of love and spiritual community, this ecosystem that we're creating of harmony. And we allow this to not just exist outside of us, but we give ourselves collectively the time to swim in it, to let it metabolize within us, so that when we leave this space, our bodies will retain the memory of what it was like to be supported, to be in company, to be together, to be in love. And we allow this to resonate throughout our week. And if you will, take one last big deep breath into the nose. Release the sound of ah. Let it go of the weight of the world, allowing your nervous system to relax and reset. And so it is. If you will, rub your hands together. Let's send this healing energy to those that are watching online. Say this with me: divine love, in us, blesses and multiplies all that you see, all that you hear. Know in this moment, you are safe, and loved. And so it is. Our ministry is supported by partners like you. Remember to log on to unitybham.org and click on giving at the conclusion of this message, or text your best gift to the number that will appear on your screen. Moderators are also on standby both before the service and after the service. So if you have a prayer request or you just want to dialogue with us, remember to post your comment in the chat box below, wherever you see the message, either on Facebook, YouTube, or our website. And we will hold you and your family in prayer. For those that are in-house that are in need of prayer, put your hands together for our prayer chaplains. All of us are prayer chaplains. And Miss Jamie. Please see Miss Jamie after service. No, you don't. If you are in need of prayer. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The word prayer in Greek is proseuche. Say this with me: proseuche. It was difficult for me to remember that word. I've been working on it for like a month because all I could think about was the meat. What's the meat called? Prosciutto. Yeah, prosciutto. There you go. And I was like, I'm going to get on camera and say the meat, and everybody's going to be hungry, and we're going to go viral because your pastor can't talk. That's what happens when you hire a country boy. No. Proseuche is a beautiful word in Greek, which is the language of the New Testament, because it reminds us, if you listen to the word, to prosecute. Proseuche. Say this again, proseuche. But it's not actually about prosecution or persecuting. It's actually about prayer. You see, when first century people, when they would go to pray, quite often, even Jesus in the New Testament, they would go into these vast open spaces. So when we go to prayer, we go to houses of prayer and houses of worship and communities. But when they would often go to pray, they would often go for walks in nature and go often into the park. And many of the early synagogues, especially the ones that were in the first century, didn't really have roofs. So when Jesus would say, "Our Father, who art in heaven," the sky was vastly open. Or in the first century, when that scripture piece came out right after Jesus' baptism, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." The sun is shining down, on this scene, sort of baptizing everybody in the wonderful, radiant experience of being outside. So when we talk about spiritual practice and prayer, what we're talking about is opening ourselves up beyond all limitations, beyond the roofs that we find ourselves in, even though these roofs are comfortable because it is cold outside. And I am very grateful to be in a sacred place like this where the heater works because it is cold outside. But when the first century people in the cast from that movie, when they would pray, they were praying in open spaces and they would commune with God, and there was no separation between God, humanity, and nature. So my first invitation on this morning is, as you move into the Christmas season, into the end of the new year, for the spaces and places in your heart and in your mind where you might have shut down or where there's been walls of separation for any reason, remove those walls, remove those limitations, and allow your heart to blossom, because you might find in that space of limitless possibilities a deep sense of communion and a deep sense of connection. Not just with the things that you know to be true or the things that you know to be normal, but a new normal. You may find, especially as the year closes and you move deeper into that experience of prayer and contemplation, especially the longest night of the year, winter solstice, that your sense of community expands when you take the roof off. Your sense of friendship expands. Your definitions of being and belonging and existing expands. In other words, when you let go, when you expand your thinking, you will learn that there are other opinions and other ways of being. There are other creatures. In the words of Mr. James Harriet, all creatures, great and small, right? And so for Jesus and the disciples, prayer meant releasing and letting go of everything. You know why you do that? So that you can receive everything. In order to receive everything, sometimes you have to let go of your conception of everything. In order for this to work, it has to work my way. In order for this to be, it has to be like this. In order for this to look anything, it has to look like this. Spiritual practice asks us almost therapeutically to go inside. Place your hand on your chest, if you will. Take a regular breath. To feel this tinker and recognize that we have more in common than not. And because all of us are here, it means that we have another chance. In other words, as the elders used to say, God ain't done with us yet. And so this morning's topic is fuel for the fire. And this month's theme that will explore for the rest of this month is the theme of life. And if you don't remember anything that I said on this morning, please remember this, that God and life ain't done with you yet. That everything that you have experienced, everything that you've been exposed to on this year, the growth, the stretching, the ins and the outs, the ups and the downs, the bouts of confusion and the bouts of clarity, that it wasn't the clarity and the good parts that were working together for your good, but in the words of the meditator, all things are working together for your good. Or in the words of the mystics, you are exactly where God was when God became you. Because the word becoming flesh isn't just something that we reflect on once a year in various spiritual communities, but divine intelligence, divine logos, is constantly becoming flesh in you every day, and every moment of the day when you open your minds and hearts to it. Love is becoming flesh as you. Forgiveness is becoming flesh as you. Logic and reasoning and faith and understanding, it's all becoming flesh for you. So the good parts, the not so good parts, they're all working together for your good. Because the ultimate goal is that life is incarnating in and with and as you. So I invite you in this message, pay attention to your breathing. Even on this week, when you notice that your breath escalates, as the meditator suggested and as Gurudev suggested, come back to center. Come back to where your power is in the present moment. When our breath escapes us, we're probably somewhere in the past. Or when our breath escapes us, we're probably somewhere, flights of frenzy. If you're ADHD, you know exactly what I'm telling you, because we love to disappear in fantasy land. Oh, this don't feel good. I'm going out of body experience. Where are you at? Distracting myself. Flights of fantasy, flights of frenzy. But I invite you to come and enter into your bodies, for your bodies are the temple of God. When you come into the present moment, when you enter into your bodies, in spite of what's going on, when you allow yourself to feel it, feel the rush of adrenaline and cortisol spiking and moving through your veins, you become more alive. And Jesus said this, I have come so that you might have life and might have it more abundantly. So sometimes we wonder if that means if I have more life, does that mean I have more stress? Because stress is also coming with life. So is Jesus trying to give me more stress? Is that what you're saying? Maybe. But all of these things are good. It wakes you up. Waking up is a difficult process. We either wake up because of pleasure or we wake up because of pain. An overemphasis on one, overemphasis on pleasure creates this sort of energy of self-indulgence, which can lead us down dark paths. But an overemphasis on pain perpetuates trauma and suffering. Mark Epstein, my favorite therapist and psychotherapist, says that suffering is the inability to let go of the thing that hurts us. He writes in the traumas of everyday life. So in his second book, to follow that up, he says that we can go to pieces without falling apart. Because, as I said here several times, when we go to pieces, it's ugly. But they become the foundation of something beautiful. And through that destruction of what once was, the presence of life, the presence of God, you, your ancestors, and all who love you, fairies too, they rebuild you into a bigger, better version of yourself, and you cultivate what Jack Kornfield calls a wise and compassionate heart. Because you wake up to the truth of reality. That reality can sometimes be uncomfortable, and it can also be comfortable, but it's all fuel for the fire. Not the fire of anger, not the fire of an overemphasis on logic where you're throwing your intelligence at the world and at people and you're prosecuting them. Right? No. It's fuel for the fire of life, the fire of living, the fire of loving. Not prosecute, but prosuke, of prayerfulness, spiritual practice of recognizing that love is the answer. Opening your heart and opening your mind and shared understanding and mutuality is the answer. Altruism, which is what we experience during this time of year, where you learn to move out of yourself and think about others and experience that love by sharing gifts. In fact, I invite you to consider that is what astral travel actually is to step outside of your experience and think about somebody else. To step outside of your body and consider what they may be experiencing, what they may be going through, what the Dalai Lama says we should do, where we consider everybody in the world as your grandmother. And if you don't have a good relationship or didn't have one with your grandmother, consider them as your great, all the way back grandparent. Somebody who you did not know that could not have gotten on your nerves. Can I get an amen to that? Or consider the world as little children, because we're all trying to figure it out and do the best we can. Or in the words of Ram Dass, we're all just walking each other home. Sometimes that journey is 1,000 miles, and we feel every 1,000 of those miles, every mile in those thousands. Your legs get tired, you trip and fall, they get ahead of you, you try to catch up and run, and you're out of breath, right? But all of that is a part of the journey, and you build endurance. Not the ability to run harder, longer, stronger, faster in a capitalistic economy, but you develop wisdom. Because wisdom tells you walk a little bit. Then wisdom says, okay, you got enough energy, run for a little bit. And then wisdom says, oh, slow down a little bit, you might need that energy later. Or wisdom may even say, hey, there's a shortcut. Or wisdom may say, hey, you missed the exit like 3 times. Turn around and go back. Say this with me. You can begin again. As long as your feet are firmly planted in the present, you can start over. Because it always takes 2 to tango. And when you have 3, me, myself, and I, well, that's just additional help. Any singles in the house. So to ground this message in a spiritual story, I want to point your attention to the book of John. John is the book of divine love, and I love that book because it's so spiritual in nature. The premise of my talk this morning will be based on John 1:14. But I want to point your attention to John 3. I want to do something with ADHD real quick. And I want to show you why this book is so powerful and profound. This book is a spiritual book, and you can really pick up on it without knowing all the history. Because the writer that we call John, we really don't know who wrote the book. It's anonymous. It was actually the apostolic fathers and mothers who gave us these names because we figured this is who they were talking about. So it's probably the author, but all of the Gospels were actually synonymous. But chapter 3, where Jesus is having this conversation with Nicodemus, it tells us the nature of this whole book. The whole conversation actually takes place for the majority of chapter 3, and the crux of that conversation is being born again, being spiritual. which lets us know the whole entire book is about spirituality and spiritual practice, that you can live a very human life. You can live a very base life. You could be the worst person on the planet, but the whole goal of life is evolution. And through evolution, when you discover higher principles and better ways of being and living and treating one another and treating yourself, that you evolve into this spiritual creature, what fancy folks call deification, where the soul is saved. In other words, you're not necessarily stuck where you are when things seem like they don't move and people seem like they won't do the right thing, when things don't seem to go your way. Jesus says, and the mystics say, especially based on chapter 3, that you indeed are loved and the whole world is moving in that capacity towards this thing that we call spirit, pneuma, ruach. So pointing your attention back from that conversation to John 1:14, the writer says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That word, dwelt among us, is in Greek the word that means to encamp around you. Logos, the divine logic, the divine idea known as God, divine intelligence, according to Charles Fillmore, is truth, it's love, and it dwells not just among us, but dwells with all of us, in us, with us, and as us. Mystics say that this Logos is the Word of God, but the writer associated with this book imagined Logos as something even more powerful. He didn't just imagine it as something outside of ourselves, but he imagined it as something deep, deep within us. That truth is your very, very nature. You don't have to search far from it, because sometimes life leads us to search far and wide for truth and for answers. But the very answers to the questions that you are seeking are right within your own heart. And during those times in your life where you feel most alone, signified by the dark night of the soul, the longest time of the darkest night, of the winter solstice, you are actually comforted because it's the presence of life, it's truth, it's logos that sort of encamps around you. The mystic Paul says that we are now surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, meaning that your ancestors are right there with you. How do you know, preacher? I'm glad you asked. You share their DNA. You got their nose. You got their eyes, their digits. So everywhere you go, God is and all is well. But everywhere you go, you take your people with you. You take them with you. You can never be alone. You didn't get here by yourself. It took eons of evolution and genetic passing into the future in order for you to be here and experience this thing that we call life here and now. Sacred text also says that it's not just the presence of God, but it's the angels, it's helpers, that the angels of God are encamped around those that fear him, her, or them, depending on your particular pronouns. And what that means is that you have support. Angels in unity theology are messengers. Reverend Knight called them messages, apostolos. So your thoughts, in fact, are angels that sort of show up. Sometimes you got to kick out of the ones, kick them out that don't say the right things, those intrusive ones, but those things that you invite into your life that pick you up, that unite you in oneness with love and unite you with God and remove barriers and remove separation, those are the ones that I'm talking about. And they encamp around you because of your commitment to higher truth and higher living. I guess my additional ask is that you reach for them. Of all the things that we can reach for, especially as the year ends and next year begins, reach for Logos, reach for truth, reach for love, reach for compassion, reach for consideration. Because after all, everything that you go through, in your reaching for all of those things, all of it will be fuel for the fire of life. Again, it'll make you a stronger, wiser version of yourself. And that is the self that will lead you and guide you into all truth and be a blessing to the world and to your family. Thank you for listening. Peace and blessings. Offering. For those that tune in online, remember to log on to unitybham.org or text your best gift to the number that appears on your screen. For those that give in-house, our ushers are making their way forward to collect the offering. while Jonathan gives us a selection. Put your hands together one more time. If you will, let's bless this offering. Punch your hands in this direction. Say this with me. We bless this offering.
We bless this offering.
Affirming it will be used for the building of this ministry. We bless the givers. We declare their gifts will return back to them with good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And so it is. Put your hands together one more time.
All right, we can all stand and let there be peace on earth. The prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us.
I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is.
Wherever I am, God is. And
All is well. Thank you much. Be sure to sign up for potluck next week.
Get all your shopping.